Gianluigi Donnarumma to Manchester City, 12 million a year in wages. It's not bad. Guehi, 30 million to Liverpool. That's really not bad. Surely Palace are not going to accept that offer. And EZE is keen on a Spurs move. I don't get it. This summer has gone absolutely bonkers with transfers, and these last few weeks of this transfer window are going to be, well, what seems the craziest of all. It's going to be an absolute mad one. Going to get all the news on that here on Football Talks. This is your midday update here on Football Talks with all of the Premier League transfer news, the big news hitting our social media links, our feeds, everything on the tabloids, the papers, and of course online and all the websites. There is so much news to get through. Honestly, I don't know what's the biggest story. Guehi for that price, Donnarumma on them wages, and EZE to Spurs. I mean, yeah, they're in the Champions League, but surely anyone with any football knowledge knows that Spurs are not going to last in the Champions League, and it's just going to take away their Premier League attentions, and they're going to finish with nothing next season. And then EZE's stuck with Daniel Levy, who will never release him. Am I thinking out loud? Is no one else thinking like the same as me? Anyway, we'll get on to that in a minute, but Gianluigi Donnarumma to Manchester City, 12 million a year. It sounds crazy, doesn't it? When you break it down, that's 230 grand a week in wages. That's actually not that bad for one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Or is he the best goalkeeper in the world? Manchester City have just brought in James Trafford. They've already got Edison. They've already got Ortega. Who is better out of them three? Like, if you're James Trafford's agent right now, you're bricking it, aren't you? I'm thinking my client's going to actually fire me at this point. James Trafford needs new representation. How this was not even in common knowledge before he made this move. He's gone away to Burnley from City to get more game time. To then think, right, this is my opportunity. I'm going to sign back for Manchester City. I'm now number one, guaranteed game time. To Donnarumma signing and that all being over completely. Ortega is still going to play. He's better with his feet than James Trafford, and Pep Guardiola always uses him in the cup competitions. Donnarumma actually is probably the worst ball-playing goalkeeper out of the lot, and you're about to spend how much on him? How much on him a year? 12 million? Yeah, I get it. Donnarumma is one of the best shot stoppers, but you only have to listen to Julian Laurens as well. I mean, I was looking at this and I'm thinking, God, someone's got to pick Gianluigi Donnarumma up here. But then I'm thinking, like, with all of these reports and other opinions, have I missed something here? I'm just looking at last season, the fantastic performances that he had, but is there more to what Enrique wants to do at PSG that Donnarumma was not doing? Are they just stuck in a system here where Donnarumma is holding them to ransom, like he did to AC Milan? And of course, with PSG being stung before by Kylian Mbappe leaving for nothing, they're not going to accept it. So low bids coming in. They want about 50 million euros. I don't see City spending that, to be honest, after just spending 25 on James Trafford. Obviously, they've still got to move Edison on, and Ortega is still there. Good goalkeepers there. And City have got three there, even worst case scenario, that could all get into Premier League teams, I think, this season. So again, it's a luxury position to be in for Manchester City, but is it going to cause a little bit of unrest? Like, what is going to happen there behind the scenes? 12 million a year for Donnarumma doesn't seem that bad. He is a world-class goalkeeper, but is there more to his game? I said just a moment ago, Julian Laurens was talking, he doesn't come well for crosses. This is the French football expert. He don't come for crosses. He's not good with his feet. I think he's all right, but is he as good as Edison with his feet? Is he going to fit the Pep Guardiola system? There's a lot of people over in France actually questioning this move to Manchester City and why Pep would go for Donnarumma. He's not a Pep Guardiola goalkeeper. It's weird, but they're willing to, apparently, according to sources today, spend 12 million a year on him. Well, I will see if it happens anyway. And the interesting thing will be is if they spend more on Donnarumma than they did with James Trafford, it just looks a bit crazy, doesn't it? You can't have four keepers. We're expecting that bid from Galatasaray to probably gather momentum for Edison and he will leave. But still, even if you get rid of Edison and you bring Donnarumma in, you've still got Ortega, Trafford sat there and then Donnarumma on top of that. Do they need that much in goalkeepers in at Manchester City? Are they going to give them all a competition each? God knows. Let them deal with that anyway. But that will be an interesting one to watch. But that's the update on that. 12 mil a year. Do you think he's worth it? Get into the comments section on that. Liverpool apparently readying a bid of 30 million to test the Crystal Palace resolve on a player that's got 1 year left on his contract. I can't see Matt Guehi going for 30 million, but Liverpool know that Crystal Palace will lose him for nothing next season. Crystal Palace know that Liverpool need a centre-back desperately. They need to reinforce in that area. I said after the weekend with that performance against Crystal Palace, funnily enough, with Matt Guehi there, I feel like Liverpool need to concentrate away from Alexander Isak and go on to Mark Guehi or another centre-back. Obviously, they've already bought in Leone, the young teenage centre-back from Parma as well. That deal now done and wrapped up. So another younger defender in at centre-back. Mark Guehi on top. And they're pretty much covered. Gomez is always going to be injured forever and a day. Obviously, they've sold players on already out of defence this season. And yeah, I mean, Konsa's gone. You can imagine you get in Mark Guehi for near enough the same price as you sold Konsa for. Like, honestly, that is ridiculous business if they manage to pull that one off. I can't see it. I just can't. But, look, never say never. You never bleeding know. And in this day and age, in the way that this transfer window has gone, anything is possible. But Liverpool are a dangerous outfit. And signing Mark Guehi, wow, that would be good. Alongside Leone as well now. That's them strengthening up the back line completely. I can see them getting that deal done before the end of the window. I'm not too sure about Alexander Isak with Liverpool anymore. Honestly, I give up with the whole situation and that transfer. It could be a complete waste of talent for so many players this season because they haven't managed to make them moves. Couple at United, couple at Newcastle, players that aren't going to find the club because clubs are no longer buckling to the pressure of agents and players. So let's see how that develops. Liverpool at the moment, they're set. They've got Ekitike in. They've still got strikers there. The main man is Mo Salah. You've got Wirtz. You've got Gakpo there as well. There's plenty of attacking options there for Liverpool, and I don't think they're overly concerned. Bringing Guehi in, I think, still puts them as favourites for the league title this season, personally, anyway. On to Tottenham. Obviously, Spurs did the Spurs thing last night in giving away a 2-goal lead with 5 minutes to go and end up losing another cup. But look, they need to invest. Thomas Frank has got them playing a certain way. I think it was clear in that game how it's going to be. Obviously, you've got Paulinho in there. You've got Kudus in there as well. Can they get one more? And they missed out on Gibbs White. That's gone by the by. But it does look like, according to Fabrizio Romano, that Spurs are now in and are ready in a bid for Eberechi Eze from Crystal Palace. Are Palace about to lose two of their big stars? Yeah. According to the reports, like Crystal Palace fans, you must be absolutely livid at the moment, winning trophies and being knocked out of the Europa League and into the Conference League and now losing all your best players. That is a tough one to take. I mean, I thought Newcastle were having a bad summer, but Crystal Palace, you are taking the title right now. If you lose Guehi and Eze, then I don't know how you survive. Like, you're not going to compete and get into the top half of the table, which is where you should be aiming. But that's too much to lose. That's too much talent to lose in one summer. Yeah, you recruit and bring in more players, but you're talking top talent there in replacing them. Experienced Premier League players. Work cut out for Crystal Palace next season if they lose them two. But as they're going to Spurs, that is one on its own. Like, where's Arsenal? What happened? They need to sell players, apparently. Who they are going to sell, I have no idea. And maybe Jesus gets his marching orders and they can make a deal. But it now looks like, with the agent of Eze actually informing Arsenal that Spurs were interested, Eze interested in Spurs, are Arsenal going to come back in? Are they going to go for it? It doesn't look like it, according to Romano. Eze's on board with this move. I just don't get it. I said it at the start of this video. My look on this and how I see it moving here is like Eze will go to Spurs. They're in European football, but that European football and inexperience of Frank in Europe will definitely play a part in them falling behind in the Premier League this season, in my opinion. Get in the comments and tell me if I'm wrong on this one. And of course, if they're not going to compete in the Premier League, the only way back into Europe is by winning a trophy. Yes, they did it last season, but can Spurs do back-to-back trophies? Unlikely. They need to win the FA Cup this season, Spurs, to get back in the Europa League, because they're not going to win the Champions League, and I don't think they're going to get top six in the Premier League either. Everyone's talking about other clubs and where they're at. For some reason, Spurs fans think because they've got a trophy, they're going to be back into the top six and back in Europe again next season. I don't see it. I don't think the team is strong enough. I don't think Frank's got the experience, and I just feel like Spurs will drop away because of it. The competition is fierce. I reckon Spurs will have these players in, and then the reality will be, we're stuck with Spurs with no European football and Daniel Levy with no chance of getting transfers away. Mistake, in my opinion. Maybe I'll be proved wrong and Spurs do have a great season. We will see, won't we? Get your comments in below on all three of them deals. Guehi to Liverpool, Donnarumma to Manchester City, but Eberechi Eze to Spurs. I really don't get. But look, Crazy things have happened in this window, like I said, and I don't expect it to stop right now. I think it's going to be a mad 2.5 weeks, and I'll have it all covered here on Football Talk. So make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button as well to stay up to date, and I'll see you in the next update.